Well, I guess I'm making my own video now. It's a bit weird and it's a bit awkward to have it as such, but I really don't know what else I can say. I mean, I admit I've been busy and, and that I haven't been giving the videos the attention they deserve and the attention my audience deserve. My audience has come to enjoy, or at least participate in my videos because they consider it newsworthy, and to a extent that is true. But like I said, the other half of the extent was primarily, no, the other half of the reason why I made these videos was because I was stressed out and depressed, and I really don't know what else or how else I could have talked to anyone about any situation I've had. Yes, sorry about that. I've had a bit of a cold lately. And I know I should have shaved, uh, but I can't be bothered right now. Maybe a bit in the future. So why have I made this video today? Well, I guess I just wanted to talk about any stress related matters I've had. I'm just studying and looking for work at the moment, and it's a bit hectic and a bit and stressful and depressing. So I've made this video just to comment on how I feel. I've been making a lot of these videos lately, whether it's because I really don't know what to expect in my future, or because I don't really have anyone else to talk to about any of the issues I had. And like I said, in my previous, or in quite a lot of my newsworthy posts, I don't really like bringing up my own personal experiences because not only do I believe that it's a very small microcosm, but because I believe that any situation I've felt or dealt with does not apply to wider Australians or the wide Australian population. Like I made a few top videos about climate change, the housing market, the rate cuts, and there have been a lot of newsworthy items for the past few weeks, but they've mostly been social problems. But there are some newsworthy items as well, like Pauline Hanson's own um, money laundering scheme, where she launders money that's supposed to be going to her political party and to her fellow senators directly into her bank account. Or the fact that Scott Morrison and Peter Dutton have released a terrible new budget, which even the hard right of Labour has stated is a disaster when it comes to welfare recipients. Of course, no one's going to talk about the fact that Labour is basically going to continue this policy, but that's for another time. So why am I bringing this up today? Well, like my previous video was interrupted, and that was because I really didn't know what else to say or to talk about. Now, that was because someone else came to my home, and I made these videos in the privacy of my home, without anyone else around me knowing about it, because if people knew how liberal I was, or not precisely liberal, but how different my values were, I would be distrusted. And I already have enough, a difficult of enough time without people barging in, questioning my beliefs. I'm to the left of quite a lot of my peers on quite a lot of topics, but I'm to the right at the exact same time for very similar or very different topics. I just want to talk about today the fact that I just feel so frustrated and pained by how things are coming along, and I really don't know what else to do or to expect. One of the things that happened, or why I decided to make these videos, was because once upon a time I tried to make we had a group psychiatrist in my primary school in Canada. I grew up in Canada for 9 years, and it wasn't the best place to grow up, but it certainly wasn't the worst. But the education system there was so terrible for younger students, or at least in my experience, because you don't really encourage excelling students to work hard, so to speak, from what I've saw. You basically raise the boats for it. You should just like try to help the students who are having the most difficulty. And there's quite a bit of a culture class in the neighborhood I grew up in, which is primarily South Asian, in African, Caribbean, and primarily white teachers that I had. And it was a bit disheartening and a bit frustrating working with such a system. Don't get me wrong, it wasn't something. A lot of the problems I had was self-inflicted, I'll admit, because I was kind of an annoying brat to my fellow classmates. But a lot of the time when I asked for assistance or when I tried to befriend people, I was looked down upon. And I talked about this previously in my other posts where I was considered too brown to be a white guy and too white to be a brown guy. And I've never actually belonged in any group. And back to the psychiatrist. Generally speaking, in grade 4, I believe, we had a psychiatrist come and evaluate the home life of every single student. Like they were given tests and quizzes or like questionnaires and they were supposed to answer it. And the psychiatrist did the deplorable thing of informing my parents about my pessimistic attitude that I had. And that caused me quite a bit of trouble at home. I'm 21 now, it's hard to believe that. But I turned 21 a few days ago. And I feel just as trapped as I was when I was 10 years old. But like, there's not a lot of opportunities for me to escape or to grow as a person. My second point is that when I went to a group council meeting, or like a group counselor, the counselor didn't care. She just came for the regular checkup or the regular half an hour checkup for the group once every month or so, and she didn't really do anything to convince or comment on the horrible teaching habits of the teachers in the school. Not only that, but because the counselor was basically in the pocket of the corrupt principal and teacher. I mean, think about it. The previous principal spent all the school's budget on high-class shoes, and she didn't get kicked. And she only got kicked out once she was caught. But the fact that it caused she didn't really spend any jail time shows how corrupt the system was, and no one made a comment about it. Secondly, the principal that came when I was residing in the school after sixth grade was quite I wouldn't say racist because she didn't really have any problems with a lot of the African students, but she had a lot of problems with the Asian students. So racist is the correct term, but not the correct, but it's not specific enough. She was anti-Oriental and anti-subcontinent Indian or whatever, or anti-Deshi. And that caused a lot of problem. Like, my primary school life was hell, and the problems I persisted or the embarrassment I had in primary school followed me well into my secondary school in Canada. And I never really escaped the stigma or the issues I had. And by the time I did become a teenager or I escaped the toxic environment, I was too far gone as you could say. And I would say that no one decided to correct me on my social habits. I have actually no friends in Australia because it's just so difficult connecting with people. Like I had school friends, so to speak, but those friends are like people you hang out with. They're not people who who actually stay with me after high school. And I'm a bit disappointed in that because I really did want to go through life with them, all of them, but they just disappointed me with that. I called like 2, 3 times the first month after high school. No one picked up or called me back or invited me to anything. And I've just been bouncing back and forth, between groups of colleagues, but no true friends. I am very disconnected with my family, and I told you that, or I've spoken about it a few times. So I've just decided to make these videos, and today I just want to talk about how stressed I am just studying for university, studying for my exams, studying for everything. And I just feel so disappointed in myself. And I wonder, how did I come about this? How did I gain this life? I just wish these videos logs were something that my younger self could see. Maybe 5 years ago. If he had saw them, he would have been both disappointed, disheartened, but he would have been dedicated to following a different life from what I am. One of the, I guess, an interest of these video logs is that while they're also a personal diary and to show a glimpse of how a Bangladeshi, Australian, Canadian lives, it's just something I want to show any future kids or anyone who wants to watch it, and so that they don't go around living the life of regret I had. YouTube isn't a very good platform to talk about deep emotional topics such as the one I am doing, but it is a very good platform nonetheless. And I wanted to make it's a good platform for anime discussion, short videos, etc., etc. But like I said, that's why I wanted to talk about this. Like I feel stressed, I feel frustrated, and I just don't know what to do in my life. Like I'm pushing myself as hard as I can, but I don't know what to expect now.